Let's talk about what do the affluent really seek now from their financial advisor? Because there's a lot of, I mean, I see stuff that people put out there and you just go, well, somebody said, well, I think this and I think they want that. Well, with all due respect and no disrespect meant to anybody, but I could really care less what somebody thinks. I want to go direct to the affluent, direct to the high net worth individuals and find out what they think. And here's what they're telling us now. They want help with financial planning. We would imagine that from the financial perspective, and they want help with life planning. So that becomes really the center piece of our entire conversation. And the question is, why is this so important to people today? They demonstrate three things. Number one, they have fear of the economy, fear of what's going to happen, fear of where the direction that inflation is going. There's a tremendous amount of uncertainty, obviously, around the market. We already know that. And many, many people are starting to doubt. Now, I'm not talking about somebody who's got $50,000. I'm talking about individuals that would qualify in any description of the affluent. They really have doubts that they've got enough money. That's the bottom line, particularly for retirement. So with that backdrop, it starts to become really important that we reach the right people for the right reasons in the right way. Here's what we know, and every one of us knows this. I mean, people love to talk about their product, their platform, their price. That's all good, but nobody cares. The only thing that people care about is the relationship they have with their advisor. And in the financial services business, we all know that relationships drive revenue. So with that said, how do you prospect effectively now? Now, this is their feedback to us. They want people to be relevant today and to be empathetic. This whole idea of empathetic is really important. And people are touchy. People are stressed. People, somebody calls them on the phone and said, is this a good time? If they answered the phone. I mean, we had people tell us during the interview, said, I hate that when somebody says it's a good time. Why would they ask me that? I'm not going to answer the phone if it's not a good time. Well, that's sort of an important point. It's really critical now that you leverage existing relationships. I'm going to show you some of our latest research on this very topic. And the other thing, people today are not interested in buying anything or being sold anything. They're looking for somebody to serve them, to help them, not to push a pitch, a product, or a service. So with that said, here's some strategies. We'll move right along here today to effectively prospect in this current environment. Let's look at some backstory. You have to uncover hidden markets by identifying best clients, your best clients, networks. Now, a lot of people, I get emails. What do you mean by best client? You know who they are. They may not have the most money, the biggest policy. All of that is immaterial. These are the people that always ask you how you're doing. These are the people, boy, if I could have 10 more people like this, my life would be a dream. The business would run smoother and I have a lot more efficiency and my time currency would be maximized. Those are who your best clients are. Now, we asked 350 financially successful consumers, how can advisors obtain more clients like you? Because we know it's a question you have. So we asked them. Ouch. They said mass marketing is offensive. Advisors don't know us and have no idea what we want. And the truth is, we already know that. I mean, one of the reasons Amazon's been successful, they personalize and try to humanize the interaction. So we took it a step farther. We said, well, what would you do? Now, this is a compilation of answers. They said advisors should not be marketing to everybody. They should find a target or a niche or a group. So meaning you, the advisor, know who we are, you know what we want, you know what we need. Now, this was shocking. And when they discover that, meaning the consumer, when we discover that, they have the confidence and curiosity to engage with you. Full stop. Internet's full of, I've gone to so many, I've spoken at thousands of conferences over the years, and everybody gets up, you advisors need to have confidence. Well, that may be true. But in this environment, what the consumer is telling us, they need confidence. And the only way they're going to do that, they got to feel a sense of connection, a sense of relationship. So when they tell us, we asked them point blank, why is this important? They said, because we want to have the confidence and curiosity to engage with that advisor because she or he knows who we are, what we want, what we need. So it makes the case, and forget about what I think. The bottom line is when people directly tell you that we need to have confidence to engage with an advisor today, it's something we ought to pay attention to. So we really dove into this. Here's what we found out. Now, these are 350 people interviewed. 87%. By the way, pre-pandemic, when we did something similar, it was 67%. 87%. Now, these are affluent people say they belong to, are engaged in organizations or network that support what they do for a living, recreation, or interest. Now, special interest could be everything from cultural, charitable, religious, the whole list, ethnic. I mean, there's a whole list of things. But here's the most important point. This is how people survived the pandemic. That's why we've seen this 20-point jump in 3 years, because we did just before the pandemic. Now we've just done this survey again. And guess what? This is, people told us, this is how I got through the pandemic. I built a network. I had people I'm connected to, the people I work with, the people that are belong to my country club or whatever the case, the people that are involved in my organization. So this is a pretty stunning number. But here's the one that really got my attention. 71% say they and their friends want to work with an advisor in their network. Now, I'm going to tell you, pre-pandemic 3 years ago, that was 31%. So you tell me, is this a shift in consumer behavior? I would have to give it an unqualified yes. This is why some of the luxury brands have done so extraordinarily well. They're penetrating networks. And what are they doing? They're letting people, we call them influencers, and influencers are influencing people in that network because people say, well, if that individual's there, then I want to be there. It's sort of the same mirror we're looking at. So consequently, these hidden networks are where people network and communicate with each other. And they're the fastest, easiest access points to new business. I'm not saying there's not other ways, but again, time's your greatest currency. I mean, if it were me, if I could find the fastest, easiest access point to new business, I'd at least be able to start to explore it. So with that said, here's a little quiz for you. Given the best markets are where people network and communicate regularly, at least 4 to 6 times a year, a little side note for you. Which of these is not a true vertical market or network? A lot of people say, well, Richard, I work with small business owners. What kind? Oh, any kind, as long as it's small. Well, we're excited for you. How about registered nurses who belong to an RN association? Absolutely, they network and communicate. Small business owners, do they? No. You say, yeah, but the Chamber of Commerce. You got 20 or 30 or 40 or 50 different industries represented there, maybe more than that. That's a problem. Drive into a strip mall and just ask yourself, the woman that owns a liquor store in a corner, which is next to the Popeye's Chicken, which is next to the dry cleaner, which is next to the hair salon, which is next to the nail salon, and then the guy in the building on the corner of the strip mall is a 7-Eleven. You tell me, are these people networking and communicate? Absolutely not. They wave across the parking lot. They barely know that individual's name. But that guy or gal has a Popeye's fried chicken franchise. She belongs to a franchise group. If I run a dry cleaner, I belong to a dry cleaner group. If I run a 7-Eleven, I'm part of a franchise group. They network and communicate with people like themselves. Registered nurses, absolutely. By the way, sidebar, hospitals, every hospital has a registered nurses association as part of a larger one. How about new car auto dealers that belong to the Dealers Association? Absolutely, that's a market. Why? By the way, that is a tremendously underserved market. The average age of auto dealers today is past 65. And with the cutbacks that they're doing at the big three, where they're trying to shrink distribution so they can improve profitability, some dealers are not able to pass it off to their children in the franchise. So the challenge with that is they got tons of real estate. They got an estate planning problem that's devastating. How about people who play golf? Everybody says, well, yeah, that's who I target. Really? I want to know where they play golf. That's the vertical. It's not that they play golf. They might play in a public course, but they don't network and communicate in a way that's important. And how about parents with young children? I get this from young, well, I'm targeting people with young kids. Well, great. It's not a market, but the PTA, PSTA, the private school, those are all markets where people are what? Networking and communicating with one another. So with that said, how do you identify? How do you move forward? That's really all that matters here. Call your best 10 to 12. I already gave you some definition. It simply is people that are advocates for you. That's it. And you know who they are. Your best, it might not be the biggest client in terms of assets or policies or whatever, but they are absolutely people that are on your side. And that's what you want. People you're communicating with frequently. Call your 10, 12 best ones and ask them these 2 points. What specific groups, clubs, associations, or networks are you currently involved with? And they love to talk about their networks. And then you can also ask them about the specific people they interact with most frequently through work or their industry, particularly if their network is around work. We coach a lot of individuals across the country, and it's just amazing to me. I had a town hall today with a group in Atlanta. Unbelievable the markets these people have uncovered. Why? Because they call their clients and they ask these questions. And guess what? People love to talk about the networks. And then they ask about specific people they interact with. And guess what? People start talking about the board of directors, the center of influence. She's the president, he's the president. They got a whole list of people that they can be in contact with. But the key thing is when you call your clients, spreadsheet their answers. Let me give you an illustration. On the left-hand side, it's all good. Client, household, premium, asset, whatever the numbers are, I'm happy for you. But the bottom line is the ones that are most important are those three on the right, the green ones. Because when you ask them what organizations are they involved in, networks, et cetera, fill that in. Professional networks, recreational networks, special interest networks. Makes all the difference in the world. This is the information most of us are missing. I'll just say this as a sidebar. I don't know what you're using for a CRM, but I can just tell you as someone that's for the last many years have really worked with firms to help them to reset. I don't care if it's Salesforce, Redtail, whatever it might be. You don't have a CRM. That is the greatest mistake that the insurance industry and the asset management industry has made. They told everybody, here's our new CRM. It's not a CRM, it's a CXM, Client Experience Manager. So you can identify the networks they're in and you can participate in the networks you choose. Because today people are all about the experience, far more than they are anything else. They want to build a portfolio of memories with their advisor. Now, this is an example. I thought I'd put this up. This is an individual we coached in Charlotte. Yeah, I took the names off for obvious reasons. But almost everybody knows this right down the center here. We know this. We know what they do for a living, et cetera. And sometimes we know what they do for recreation. But he called this guy. Now, this guy's a green builder. He's in the Green Building Council. He knew that. He had no idea this guy was a national golf instructor. No, he knew he played golf a lot, but had no idea. And Hilda's a good one. He said, she's a nice gal. She's in the Chamber of Commerce. Well, no, she's also on the National Association of Women Business Owners, which is, like an important piece of information, since she's the chairman for the state. That was an important piece of me. I mean, if you want to target women, it would be sort of good to have this as a center of influence for you. And also, he said she loved animals, but I had no idea she was in the SPCA. And here's another one. He said, Tom, this guy's on the National Board of Architects, which is, like good. But this doesn't happen unless you make that phone call and listen and write down their answers. I put another one here. Felicity, good one. Now, this is the daughter of one of his best clients. And they said, you ought to call her. So he did, thinking it's a waste of time, but they thought it was a great idea. Okay. So he calls her. Small, not much business with him. She's 27 years old. He said, I started off the conversation saying, you're probably not involved in much with your parents thought I ought to call you. She said, well, actually, I'm pretty involved. She said, I'm in the American Diabetes Association, and, I am the membership chair for the State Association of Pharmacists. Holy moly. She got the name, address, email, cell phone of every single pharmacist. And you ought to see the market this kid's developed there. Oh my God. It's nuts. And then here's another senior core. I had a guy from Jacksonville, Florida on that coaching call today. And he's targeted SCORE, Senior Corps of Retired Executives. During the previous administration, you couldn't get a small business loan unless you had a SCORE person on your board. Okay. So he met with the chapter head down there, who's Ken. And guess what? This guy introduced her. There's 68 members that all serve on boards of small businesses. What an opportunity that is. So my point to you is this. I know you do a good job uncovering things with your clients, and God bless you for doing that. People are desperate today. But this is information where you can drive relationships. This is where you can find hidden markets. But the only way to do that, you got to call them. You can't write down what you know. Well, I'll show you one. Yeah. Here's a guy that we were coaching. So he just wrote down what he knew. A sous chef goes to cooking school events. Well, like which ones would be sort of helpful? He likes golf. What does he play golf? Is he a member to a club, et cetera? And you know what the answer was? I'm not sure. And, nice, this girl's a strong Catholic, but I'd at least like to know the church or the diocese. And she's in a nursing association. That was helpful. Alumni Association at Mercy College, tough market to crack. And she's in bridge and rowing, likes to read. Well, what could we not find out at least something else about this individual? Because these are the things that make a difference in terms of uncovering the market. So by investing a few hours, identifying the organizations, networks that support your best clients, you will uncover opportunities to leverage those existing relationships quickly. And to be sure you choose the networks that you want to leverage wisely, I just want to show you, this is so simple to do, but it is so critical for good outcome. All you have to do is Google. Let's say you fill out the spreadsheet, you got 10 or 12 potential markets. Pick 4 to 6 where you have something in common, not because they have money, but because, I really enjoy, I got a kid in Ocala we're coaching. 3 of his best clients own horse farms, but he didn't pick it because he's afraid of horses. So, which is good. You invite him to a horseback ride, he's out of here. So Google 4 to 6 interesting org, the ones you're interested in, on your spreadsheet, and decide which 1 or 2 are a good fit for you. Some of the teams we work at has 3 or 4, but they're a team as opposed to a solo shop. Now, here's a good example. This is one I just did. But the guy we're coaching, and he said, I want to target a specialty dentist in Santa Clara. So I just pulled it up. There, boom, there it is right there. It's right on the screen. Sir, Santa Clara County Dental Society. Notice it doesn't say dentist. We typed in specialty dentist. There's the organization right there. You can see Santa Clara. But look, there's the staff. You got the past presidents, the bylaws, and the board of directors. You talk about direct access. There it is. And then another guy we worked with was in Phoenix, Arizona. He wanted to target attorneys. So I said, well, okay, let's go to the Bar Association. He about fell out of his chair. He said, I had no idea. I said, look at all these. You got probate attorneys, environmental attorneys, employment law, criminal law, construction law. What they're telling you is they're segmenting themselves based on area of specialty. Like a kid in Chicago, I got an email from him last week. I want to target dentists. There's 5,500 dentists in Chicago. Well, good luck with getting to be well known in that market. Why don't you segment it? We know that only 8% of dentists today are still general dentists. We know the other 92% are specialists. You got periodontist, orthodontist, you've got all kinds of specialty dentists. So the point is, by going on Google, for God's sakes, and spending, pick a number, 15, 20 minutes, you can get total clarity. Now, the most important thing, when you get the information, this is my best friend, James. Got all written down. Okay, there's X number of members and there's that. I got all that. Great. Now, I wonder if this is a good choice. Well, the question is, can you join it? That's the question. You might be able to, and again, you may not be able to. If you want to target positions, most of them don't allow you to join. But what you have to realize is there's a thing called Physicians Auxiliary, and that's typically where the spouses are. And you can join that group, and you can put on presentations for them, and they'll invite their doctor spouse. You have an affinity for the organization. In other words, you have something in common. You really have a passion for working with people. With your skill set and with your experience, it's ridiculous for you to be calling on people that don't appreciate who you are and with whom you have nothing in common. You want to get yourself crazy, that will get you crazy. I don't know about you, but I want to come in on Monday morning excited about the individuals I've got on my calendar. Not because of what they got in assets, not because of how much insurance or whatever the case might be. I want to do it because I enjoy working with these people. That's important to me. And then do they meet regularly, even virtually, so you can build relationships 4 to 6 times, 4 to 6, remember that number, 4 to 6 times a year is the key. Is it economically viable? Do they fit your ideal client model? Can they even afford what you're doing? And you say, well, I think so. No, just go to salary.com and look up the number. It'll tell you exactly in your zip code. And it'll give you a sense of opportunity. You can meet with the president of the association and uncover a good sense. And most importantly, is it more than 250 people, including affiliated markets? So let's say you want to go after, I don't know, pick one, developers in wherever, Paducah, Kentucky, great. Well, there may only be 60 or 70 people there that are classified as developers, and then look at the organizations that support it. You're going to have everything from builders to lumber, et cetera. So you look at the aggregate and say, you know what? This is a lot more than 250 people, because if I target these people, they can introduce me to other people that are suppliers to them. And that's a huge home run. So the key is, can you join? Do you have an affinity? Do they meet regularly? And is it economically viable? And does it make any sense? Don't ever forget your greatest currency is your time. People waste so much time trying to target people, get referrals. Referrals are dead. It's dead. DEAD, they're dead. People say, well, I'm getting referrals. Well, how many are you getting a month? Well, I get a couple a month. Really? Well, I'm going to show you where you can get 5 or 6 every meeting, but they're not referrals. So prospect through warm introductions. Why? Because 16% of the people we interviewed said they're comfortable giving referrals to their advisor. 16%. 16% of 350 people. That may understand why it's so tepid right now. And we asked them why. We don't want to get involved in our friends' financial life. Yeah, this pandemic was tough. We just don't want to. We don't want to be in a position where somebody asks us, "Who do we know needs financial advice?" We all need financial advice, and we just don't like that question. And then some people are so audacious today to use 10-year-old technology. One of the ways I get paid is by the really snap out of it. These people already think they're paying too much. The truth is, what you want to do is leverage a relationship. What you don't want to do is put them in the hot seat. So when we asked them that, and the 16% said we're comfortable giving referrals to our advisor. Then we said, well, how comfortable would you be of introducing your advisor to people in your network? 81% reinforces that point before. What? 71% want to work with somebody in their network. My question is, how do you do it? Well, there's the Vanguard study last summer. 41%, look at that number, of the value that people say they receive from you is having a personal connection or relationship with you. So my point is, if you've got people who are advocates for you and they're in the market you've chosen, which of course you'd want to choose where they're in, well, for God's sakes, let's leverage that relationship. Now, I understand it's easy to say stuff like this. Let me give you some very prescriptive tactics. Just remember, personal referrals are touchy when you get involved in people's finances today. If there's anything that happened after the pandemic, the referral floor fell through the floor. And I know I get people, well, I get 3 or 4 a month. With your book and your expertise, and with the age of your book, is 3 or 4 a month. If you close half of them, oh, you close 3/4 of them. So if you get 3 a month and 5 are dying, how's that working for you? But they will talk about their networks, and they absolutely love it, and they'll help you meet people in them. So the question is, how do you execute? It's very simple. You just print your screen. Just print and screenshot this. Just put together a list, 10 or 12. Don't go crazy. Don't give them 30 people or 20 or 10 or 12 is enough. Qualified prospect, people that you know are, you go on LinkedIn, or I'll show you where you can get it. That you'd like to meet, not do business with. Don't say to somebody, these are people I'd like to do business with, because the door gets slammed. Here's some of the sources. Just hit print screen, screenshot. Their online association, club, union, society membership list. I had a guy on this call today, and he's targeting longshoremen. He's in Savannah, Georgia. Incredible. He's got the whole membership list for the union of longshoremen in Savannah, Georgia, all the way up to Charleston. He's got 4 clients. He's using this exact process, and he's getting warm introductions. Another one is LinkedIn. Just focus on your local first connections. I know everybody's, well, I want to build a global business. Well, let's take it across Paducah, Kentucky first, before we end up going across and moving over to Ohio and running up and down the road, even though people are very comfortable now with technology. So LinkedIn is good. Keep it local. Make it your first connection. Second connections, you probably don't even know who you are. Meetup groups. Now, this is amazing to me. Again, the industry is so far behind the rest of the world. Just go to your phone, type in the app, in your search, where you can search an app, the App Store. Type in meetup groups. It'll pop right up. Ask you for a zip, download it. You can type in anything. People who read frequently, reading clubs, book clubs, etc. I mean, it's unbelievable. There are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of groups in there, and many of them are good size. gal today, she's a runner. She's in Atlanta, Georgia. She typed, while we're on, she typed it in. People who, groups preparing for marathons. 431 members. That's helpful. And this other guy said, well, I want to target people that ski. The biggest ski club in the country, snow skiing, is Atlanta, Georgia. How'd they find that out? Meetup groups. On your next in-person, so now you got the list. You got 10 or 12 people. So it's virtual in-person, set the table and say this. I so enjoy working with you, advising you. Just screenshot this. And as you know, you're not just an account to me. You're a person, you're an individual. And I, or we, if you're a team, care about your well-being. And we want to, what does that say? We want to help the people you know. They deserve to get sound financial advice. You're not asking for any qualification here. Because the next thing you're going to say, these are people in Oak Hill Country Club that I would like to meet to ensure they're getting the advice they need, particularly in today's environment. Who do you know and which ones know you? Notice there's not one thing about asking them to qualify. All we're doing is letting them review the list. And when they're done, and I'll tell you, they'll tell you stories. So they'll say, well, this guy's a bad guy. I mean, some of the stories I hear is amazing. But once they get on that list of 10 or 12 people, then just always say, who have I left off this list? Because people think by market segment. I said to you, how many realtors do you know? You go, well, the guy that sold his house and the guy that rented the space here. And see, that's how we think. I said, do you know anybody in real estate? Not really. So the point is, people think by market segment, by occupation, by membership in the club, by membership in whatever organization you want to target. That's good. I mean, this gal in Atlanta, she's targeting Black Nurses Association of Georgia. And how'd she find that out? Because she asked her clients, several of whom are nurses and they're African American. Guess what? They said, well, actually, we all belong to a special organization. She's now been asked to speak on things that they can do to get their financial life in balance. Great, because she asked one question, who have I left off this list? And then say, I'd like to reach out to them. Should I, this is critical, should I give them a call or would you like to send them an email or text on my behalf? Or better yet, what would you suggest? And when I was doing some work with Disney years ago, Michael Eisner taught me this. He said, the problem is people ask dead stare questions. So how would I reach out to them? Geez, I really, they're hard to, I'm not really sure how you would do that. And they have a thing there, a creative center. And what people do at Disney, they get a storyline going or a visual and they'll draw it out and it's huge, huge, huge. It's almost like a ballroom. And all these designers, all these illustrators, all these storyline people going to post up on the wall. I mean, I'm talking about 8-10 feet up. It's like a library of ideas. And, when I'm looking down, it's a catwalk, I'm looking down the room through the glass and big sign across the top said, all creativity is collaborative, suggestions. And people were standing down there working on films, working on all kinds of things, looking at the walls, trying to pick up an idea. All creativity is collaborative. And he said, people ask dead stare questions. If they suggest, people will say, oh, no, I'll tell you. And he was so spot on. Should I give him a call or would you like to send him an email or a text on my behalf? Or better yet, George, what would you suggest? And people say, no, I'll tell you what we're going to do. All of a sudden, it's their idea, which is a whole lot better. Do you know anybody who needs any financial advice? Yikes. And our third strategy, leverage your organizations where your best clients are involved and that you choose to target. Now, a lot of people say, I want to buy a mailing list. Let's not do that. Let's join the organization. Why? I want you to have visibility. They want to understand who you are. Remember, they need confidence. The industry misses this. I mean, it's like a moonshot when they don't even get it. It's the consumer that needs the confidence. People say, well, why do I get ghosted? Because the first meeting was awful. It was all about your product, your plan, your process. Your people, they're not even remotely interested in hearing about your plan, your product, your process. They don't care about any of that. All they want to do is, can you help me solve my problem? So attend every event, every meeting, so they get to see you and know you. That's critically important. Third, get involved, participate. in meetings, functions, and serving on a committee. So we pulled it. We have we're a little over 7,000. Let me look at the number. Yes, 7,600 have been online with us this month on our online platform. We've got 41 different courses on marketing, including all of this step by step. And so we poll them all the time. What's working? What's not working? Here's the best committees that in our poll last month, they said they're serving a welcoming committee, which makes all the sense in America and anywhere else you are, because you go, you greet people in 2 or 3 months, everybody knows you. More importantly, you know them. And the other one was development committee. So if I want to serve in a committee, I don't want to serve in a finance committee. Why do I want to do that? I want to get there and rub shoulders with the very clients with whom I want to do business and prospects. And so how do you do that? Well, you move from involvement and participation in a committee to having a business meeting. And this is a real challenge for lots of us, So what do you do? I'm a financial advisor. So what do you do? Well, I sell and it gets to the point that people say, so what, I'm a financial advisor. And people say, oh, really? I need to go find my husband. And they're not even married. They're just trying to get as far away from you as possible. So you have to learn how to transition from meeting people to meeting with people. Here's a screenshot of this. I'll put it up for you. Don't wordsmith this. I've had people say, well, I don't like that word. On our website, we didn't build any of this for anybody to vote on it. When you got thousands of people taking courses and sending me emails about how this worked and this really worked, we would just suggest accept it and move forward with yourself. So let's say as an example, let's say I was on with Greg and we're on a committee together, we're sitting having dinner, he's on my right, we have a conversation, talked about a lot of stuff. Then I'd say, Greg, now that we spent time together personally, been serving on this committee, it's been great for the last couple of months. I'd like the privilege of introducing myself to you professionally. So why don't we have breakfast or lunch one day next week? And, after we have a conversation about your business and mine, we can decide if we ever need to bring it up again. How about, I don't know, you tell me Tuesday, Thursday, I'm flexible. And it's remarkable the response people get. Because not say, let's get together and I want to take a look at your finances and get your financial life available. So let's have breakfast. And after we have a conversation, the lowest common denominator of human interaction, a conversation, not a meeting about your business and mine, we can do. So it's not just about you. It's about who? It's about Greg's business in my illustration here and mine. So you're first, I'm second. And we can decide if we need to bring it up again. Would Tuesday or Thursday be best? A core strategy, use social media to position yourself as a relational go-to resource. I would suggest to you that there's a lot of improvement needs to be made to social media in our industry. That's all I'm going to say. I don't want to be overly critical. But boy, the stuff you see posted on LinkedIn is like, who thinks this is going to work? It's like people, we're growing our firm. Well, we're happy for you there, big boy, but I ain't interested. That doesn't engage with anybody. And it's the same thing here. I've sold X amount of thousands of dollars of insurance or annuities. I see a guy on all the time. He's always posting how much we sold. Great. Well, if I'm a consumer, I'm not calling this dude because I don't want to be sold anything. On the other hand, if you can help me to make sure I'm going to have protection for my earned and unearned income, I might dial 1-800, get this dude on the phone. So when you connect with them in your chosen network, be sure to also connect with the network, the association staff, everybody. You got clients in that network, follow that network, connect with them so that you're there. However, avoid this, and every one of you, I guarantee you, are getting occasionally somebody connect and immediately pitch it. I get them every day. And it's really annoying. And I even send it back to them. I say, well, I appreciate you connecting, but we don't do business with people that connect and pitch. Because why? We know. And you should instead offer help to build their network, introduce them to people they would like to meet. Because the key to positioning as the relational go-to resource is to provide value. And the way you provide value, I'll help you build a network. I'll share your post. Those are the things. I'll like your post, etc. I spend about 20 minutes every morning going through my LinkedIn connections because I get all kinds of notifications and I see things in my notification. I follow a lot. And I click on them like this, make a comment, make a comment, make a comment. Makes all the difference. This guy, I haven't been able to get him on the phone for 4 years at all. Connect with him in any way. Okay, he hired a new marketing director, great resume. I knew who she was. I commented, great hire. An hour later, I got an email, Richard, we need to talk. Bought a license for his entire organization. He said, I really foolish. I should have stayed engaged. It didn't cost me anything to type those 6 or 7 words, but it made impression upon him. And that's all that matters. Set up a Google alert. Real simple. Just go to Google and type in alert. Google alert. Every industry, every organization, every network that you're targeting. I got a guy working on Lockheed. My God, he finds out stuff before it's even published. And the point is, follow those groups on social media that supports them. So if you want to target a specific, like architects or nurses or longshoremen or auto dealers, they're going to have groups. New York State Auto Dealer Association. Follow those people. Just click on it, then you got it. You'll get info before most people know it. And sometimes you get info before the members even know, which is really good. Right. And when you see information from your Google, you can set the frequency. You can type in anything you want, a person, anything, industry, network, whatever. And then you click frequency. I want a daily, when it happens, whatever. And I probably get 2 dozen every day. Google alerts. Stuff, because here's what Google does. It searches the internet for you free. This is free, keyword free, and drops whatever the alert is if that industry, that person, that network in your area is mentioned, drops it right into your inbox. How wicked good is this? Because what I do, I'll read them. Some of them are dupes. I've seen it a couple of days ago and it pops up again. But what do? I send it to them. And I give them awareness that I'm thinking of that. It strengthens a relationship. And for you, it positions yourself as a resource because people say, I really appreciate you sending that along. I didn't even know that was published yet. Or that was interesting. We got mentioned in that article. We weren't aware of it. So anyway, staying in touch and getting in touch and cultivating with content and networking support just opens the door. And they're open for a phone call. Or you're going to do an event, you can invite them. I just did a Top Gun event. Unbelievable. Invited clients and gave them tickets to invite 2 other individuals. Ended up buying a theater for 3 nights. So many people wanted to come. Who's he work with? Commercial pilots. Oh, that makes a lot of sense. It was a home run. And the prospects that came, they came because the client said come, and the prospects that didn't attach to a client, they sent them a ticket and said, we'd like you to join us. But because they've been cultivating and networking with these pilots at these various airlines over the last several years, people came who had never met them before. And then we had a post strategy. A big cutout of Tom Cruise, took pictures, and everybody gets a framed picture of themselves and their family and Tom Cruise delivered to their house by the advisor team. And they say, now that we spent time together personally, we'd like the privilege of introducing ourselves to you professionally. You can't make this stuff up. I'm telling you, when you focus on people and leverage your relationships, which you're all so good at anyway, what we got to do is put aside all this. Let me tell you about the product called about platform and all. No, let's refocus on what made you successful. You know what it was. Connections. So identify your best clients, call them. Pretty simple. 10, 12, don't go nuts. You want to target. Leverage your networks. Get warm introductions, real simple. Stop asking, who do you know needs financial advice? If it says in about in your email, anything about it, one of the ways I get paid, just erase that. Would you do that, please? Because I can't use the words of some of the people we interviewed, but suffice to say, they were furious that their advisor had the audacity, given what they're paying these advisors, to ask one of the ways I get paid, particularly in this month. Get involved in your chosen markets, because I'll tell you this, if you're out of sight, you're out of business. That's it today. There's too much competitive pressure. There's too much bombardment going on, and people are looking. There's a place to get, shall we say, some solace with what's going on. So use social media as a relational go-to resource in your market to build awareness. Focus on using these strategies and tactics in the next 48 hours. And to be able to help you to do that, what I did, I partnered with Greg on this. Our online university has 41 different courses. It takes you through every step that we worked on today. And if you enroll, you'll get an email from me. Take these classes, and I guarantee in 6 weeks, your prospect pipe will be full. You can sign up for a year. You can sign up monthly. And if you put in that code, see it there, just go to Weylman Center, just type in Success 2022. And then you'll say, because of your relationship with Greg and with Alpine, you'll receive a 30% membership fee savings. And you're probably thinking, yeah, well, this is a couple $100 a year. Well, actually, it's $25.90 a month. So I will end only with this thought for you, that if not this, what? This is where the consumer is. This is one of the reasons I got an email just before this webinar today, and thanks you again for your patience on the internet. And they said, well, it's really slow here, but it's always slow in the summer. You know why it's slow in the summer? So we don't promote in the spring. Why? Because we're still out there trying to find clients or prospects one at a time. You become a go-to resource in a marketplace, and you're good to go because you fill up the prospect pipe and people engage with you. That's why I put this website together, the Weylman Center, and it's got all these courses on it. But I've also we have direct research on over 350 occupations, businesses, and professions with hot links right to local prospects and associations right in your area. So just go, there's a little preview video, go watch it. And if you have some interest, we'd love to have you as a member. And every quarter I do a town hall. The next one's July 20th. There'll be well over 1,000 people on, but just bring every question and send it along to me, and we answer them. I have my senior coaching team on. It's wild, but it's exciting. And don't be surprised if it's 2 hours long, but you'll pick up great insight because we have people in every sector of the industry, from banking to advisory to insurance to, and broker. You just name. It's crazy, but it's wonderful because what happens is you get to collaborate and hear ideas from other people. And so if this has been of value to you, I just want to say thank you for attending. Greg, I want to thank you for the privilege of having this opportunity to present with you and partner with you once again. And I hope this has been helpful for everyone. Greg, back to you, please.
Okay. Thank you, Richard. Thank you so much. I have to tell you, I know Richard over 20 years, and I've had the benefit of learning from him quite some time ago. And it's amazing how you've been able to update and refresh a lot of the information and employ technology that certainly wasn't in effect when we first were working together. So thank you for that. That's really a testament to the enduring nature of what you're talking about. If anybody has any questions, please put them into chat. We're going to have a few more minutes with Richard to answer just a couple of questions. And then, of course, you can always go to the weylmancenter.com and see if you want to become a member of that elite group. Tim, do we have any questions that you want to send over to us? Tim is working the background and making sure things are going off without.
Yeah, I don't see anything in the chat for now. But we can send this out to everybody that attended, and we'll send it to the non-attendees as well so that they can get a look at this.
Super. Okay, very good. All right, Richard, thank you so much for your time, your wisdom, and once again, we look forward to having more future conversations and probably have you back again. Okay. Thanks.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. Take care. Bye for now.
Okay. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye. Thanks, everyone.